Let's be real for a second. 2025 was loud. We had massive AAA sequels, console wars, and marketing campaigns screaming in our faces 24/7. It is totally normal that you didn't play everything. But while everyone was busy arguing on Twitter about frame rates and the big blockbusters, some of the best games of the year slipped right under the radar. I'm talking about the games that don't have billion-dollar budgets but have way more soul. We have claymation nightmares, Yakuza mascot managers, and turn-based RPGs that actually feel cool again. If you are tired of the same old open-world slop, you need to play these. Here are the 19 best PlayStation hidden gems from 2025 that you definitely missed.
This game came out of nowhere and completely embarrassed some of the biggest RPGs on the market. Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Visually, it looks like it cost $100 million. Unreal Engine 5 doing some heavy lifting here. But the gameplay is the real hook. It fixes the one thing people hate about turn-based games: waiting. You can't just mash X and look at your phone. You have to parry, dodge, and counter in real time during the enemy's turn. It feels like Sekiro smashed into Final Fantasy. The premise is wild too. You have this paintress who wakes up once a year to paint a number on a monolith, and everyone of that age just turns to smoke and dies. You are leading a suicide mission to stop her. The vibe is very French, very artistic, and incredibly depressing in a beautiful way. Rumor has it the dev team was super small compared to the scope of this thing, which makes the polish even more insane. If you missed this because you thought turn-based is dead, you played yourself. It is stylish, difficult, and genuinely feels new.
We all love a good mystery, but Blueprint turns the genre into a strategy game. You aren't just exploring a mansion, you are literally building it as you walk. You play as a guy trying to inherit a massive estate, but the rooms are drafted like a deck of cards. Every time you open a door, you have to choose which room comes next. Do you place a bedroom for stamina or a library for clues? It sounds simple, but it gets stressful fast. The layout changes every single day. You have to manage your step count like a resource. If you run out of steps before finding the daily goal, you pass out and lose progress. It has this addictive just one more run loop that keeps you up until 3 a.m. The atmosphere is super eerie, very House of Leaves vibes, where the architecture feels hostile. It flew under the radar because it looks like a simple walking sim in screenshots, but the brainpower required here is next level.
If you played Sayonara Wild Hearts, you know this developer loves style. But Lorelei and the Laser Eyes is a complete 180. It's a monochrome, non-linear puzzle game that treats you like an adult. And by that, I mean it makes you feel incredibly stupid. This isn't one of those games where the solution glows yellow after 5 seconds. You literally need a real-life notebook and pen to play this. You are wandering around an old hotel in Central Europe, solving riddles that involve mazes, math, and weird perspective shifts. It feels like an old PS1 survival horror game, but without the zombies. It's just pure atmosphere and logic. The story is fragmented and creepy, dealing with illusions and art. A lot of people skip this because it looked too artsy or too hard, but the feeling of solving a puzzle here provides a dopamine hit that no shooter can match. It respects your intelligence, which is rare these days.
This is hands down the weirdest game of 2025, Promise Mascot Agency. It's from the same maniacs who made Paradise Killer, so you know the vibe is going to be off the charts. You play as a disgraced Yakuza lieutenant who gets exiled to run a mascot agency. You are recruiting weird creatures, like a living cone or a slime, driving them around in a truck and helping them do jobs for the townspeople. It is an open-world management game, but it looks like a cursed PS2 title in the best way possible. You have to negotiate contracts, level up your mascots, and deal with the bizarre politics of this cursed town. The writing is hilarious and deeply cynical. It pokes fun at capitalism, honor, and labor laws while you are trying to get a walking strawberry to clean a toilet. It's chaotic, colorful, and unlike anything else on the PlayStation Store. If you want a game that refuses to take itself seriously but still has deep mechanics, this is it.
Survival horror had a huge year, but Sorry We're Closed is the one the cool kids were playing. It captures that nostalgic, fixed camera angle vibe of Silent Hill or Resident Evil, but drenches it in neon pink and vaporwave aesthetics. You play as Michelle, a girl who has a few days to break a curse before she gets dragged to hell. The twist? You have a third eye mechanic. When you aim down sights, the game shifts from fixed angles to first person, letting you target enemy weak spots. It turns the combat into this tense dance between seeing the horror up close and managing your space. The demon designs are genuinely unsettling, lots of body horror mixed with high fashion. It's short, punchy, and oozes style. A lot of people missed it because it's an indie title in a sea of massive horror remakes, but the story here hits way harder. It's about intimacy and fear, and the soundtrack is an absolute banger.
Every asset in this game was physically sculpted out of clay. I'm not joking. The Midnight Walk is a dark fantasy adventure that looks like a Tim Burton movie that you can control. The developers literally made the characters and world out of clay, 3D scanned them, and put them in the game. The texture work is mind-blowing. You can see the fingerprints on the models. You play as a little creature called the Burnt One, guiding a lantern through a nightmare world. The gameplay is terrifyingly tense because you have to use your flame to distract monsters while sneaking past. It supports PSVR 2, and honestly, if you have the headset, playing it in VR is almost too much. It feels like you are shrinking down and walking inside a stop-motion film. It is grim, artistic, and incredibly unique. It got buried a bit because it's a slower, moodier experience, but the visual craft alone makes it a masterpiece.
If you have any nostalgia for the 90s or just love getting your heart broken by indie music, you need to play Lost Records' Bloom and Rage. This is from the original team behind Life is Strange, and you can tell immediately. You play a swan, filming her friends with an old-school camcorder during the summer of 1995. The mechanic of actually recording footage is the hook. It changes how you interact with the world and how the characters react to you. But then it jumps to 2022, and you realize something terrible happened that summer. The mystery is genuinely gripping, shifting between the cozy nostalgia of being a teenager and the harsh reality of being an adult with trauma. The art direction is gorgeous, mixing 3D with this dreamy, hazy filter that feels like a fading memory. It got a bit overshadowed because people are kind of burned out on episodic narrative games, but the writing here is sharp. It's cringe, it's real, and it captures that specific feeling of high school friendship perfectly.
Tabletop RPGs are cool again, but Citizen Sleeper 2, Starward Vector, doesn't need a dungeon master. You play as a sleeper, basically a human consciousness in a dying robot body, trying to survive in a hostile sci-fi universe. The gameplay is all about rolling dice at the start of every day and assigning those numbers to actions. Roll a 6, you hack the mainframe perfectly. Roll a 1, you probably break your leg and lose your money. The sequel gives you your own spaceship and a crew to manage, which adds this layer of stress that is weirdly addictive. You are constantly balancing fuel, food, and the stability of your own rotting body. The writing is some of the best in the entire industry. It's dense, political, and incredibly human. It's basically a text-heavy RPG, which scares some people off. But if you skip this, you are missing out on the best cyberpunk story of the year. It makes Cyberpunk 2077 look like a cartoon.
Okay, it finally happened. Toby Fox shadow dropped Deltarune Chapter 3 and 4, and the internet broke for like 2 days before moving on. If you missed it, you are missing the evolution of the Undertale formula. It's an RPG where you don't have to kill anyone, but the combat is a mix of turn-based strategy and bullet hell dodging. It sounds chaotic because it is. These chapters lean hard into the dark world TV aesthetic, parodying everything from late-night talk shows to cooking competitions. The humor is extremely internet, but it has so much heart. The music is, as always, an absolute banger. You will have these tracks stuck in your head for months. The reason it's on a hidden gems list is that a lot of casual players are waiting for the full game to be finished before jumping in. Don't wait. These chapters are massive, the secret bosses are brutally hard, and the lore is getting deeper and scarier. It is a masterpiece of indie design. Fighting games had a massive resurgence lately, but while everyone was grinding Street Fighter 6 or Tekken, SNK quietly dropped the coolest fighter of the decade, Fatal Fury: City of the Wolves. This is the first new Fatal Fury in over 25 years, and it oozes style. They use this new comic shader art style that makes every punch look like a panel from a 90s graphic novel. It is vibrant, loud, and incredibly fast. The ref system is the hook. It rewards you for being aggressive, but punishes you if you burn out too fast. It feels amazing to play, even if you suck at fighting games, because the impacts are so crunchy. Terry Bogard is back, obviously, but the new roster is full of freaks and weirdos that are super fun to learn. It didn't get the marketing budget of the big boys, so the lobbies aren't as packed, but the netcode is buttery smooth. If you want a fighter that prioritizes style over esports sweating, this is the one.
Do not trust this game.
Wanderstop looks like a cozy, wholesome tea shop simulator where you brew drinks and listen to lo-fi beats. But it is made by the guy who created the Stanley Parable, so you know something is wrong. You play as Alta, a fallen warrior who is forced to manage the shop. The problem? She hates it. She wants to be killing dragons, not mixing matcha. The gameplay loop is simple, growing ingredients and serving customers, but the narrative is a psychological horror show about trauma and the inability to move on. Alta will have mental breakdowns while trying to pour tea. She resists the cozy mechanics. It is a deconstruction of the entire cozy game genre that makes you feel uncomfortable in the most brilliant way. It flew under the radar because people saw the trailer and thought it was just another farming sim. It is absolutely not. It is a brilliant, twisted look at what happens when a hero has no war left to fight.
Imagine Grand Theft Auto, but you are a chaotic little gremlin and there are no guns, just a pipe and a dream. Tiny Terry's Turbo Trip is a bite-sized open-world game that is pure comedy. You play as Terry, a kid who wants to go to space, so you have to collect junk to upgrade your car. The city is dense, packed with pedestrians you can annoy, ramps you can jump, and secrets tucked away in every alley. The physics are floaty and ridiculous. You can smack a fire hydrant and send a car flying. The writing is genuinely funny. It has that absurdist British humor, even though the dev is indie, that reminds me of The Simpsons Hit and Run. It's a short game, maybe 4 or 5 hours, but every minute is fun. It didn't get a huge marketing push, so it got buried under the 100-hour RPGs, but it is the perfect palate cleanser. It's just pure dumb fun that reminds you why you started playing video games in the first place.
Action game fans have been begging for this for 15 years, and Team Ninja finally delivered, Ninja Gaiden 2 Black. For a long time, we were stuck with the Sigma versions that removed all the gore and messed up the enemy count. This 2025 release is the definitive restoration of the original Xbox Vision, but running at a locked 4K 120 FPS on PS5. It is glorious. This is the hardest game on this list, period. You are Ryu Hayabusa, and you are fighting hundreds of ninjas, demons, and werewolves that want you dead instantly. The limb dismemberment system is back, which isn't just for show. If an enemy loses a leg, they will crawl at you to blow themselves up. It is frantic, stressful, and demands perfection. It's a remaster, sure, but in a year of cinematic experiences, playing a game that is pure mechanical skill feels incredible. If you miss the golden age of hack-and-slash games, this is a history lesson you need to take. This game is what happens when you take the physics of Portal and smash it into a gorgeous 2D platformer, Bionic Bay. You play as this tiny, helpless guy in a massive biomechanical world that wants to crush you. The hook is the swap mechanic. You can swap places with any object in the world instantly. See a giant boulder falling on your head? Swap with it. Now the boulder is where you are, and you are falling safely from the ceiling. It creates this incredible flow state where you are constantly trading places with debris, enemies, and lasers to survive. The pixel art is stunning. It has this gritty industrial look that feels ancient and high-tech at the same time. The physics are super realistic, which means deaths are often hilarious. You will get crushed, burned, and splattered a lot. It's a trial and error game, but the respawns are instant, so it never feels frustrating. It's one of the most satisfying platformers since Celeste.
Most sports games are about being a millionaire athlete. Despelote is about being a kid in Quito, Ecuador, kicking a soccer ball against a wall because you're bored. It's a first-person slice-of-life game where the ball is your only way to interact with the world. You don't play matches, you just dribble around the park, kick trash cans, pass the ball to other kids, and annoy the neighbors. The vibe is immaculate. It captures that specific feeling of childhood summers where nothing matters about the game. The art style looks like hand-drawn sketches on top of real photos, giving it a gritty, nostalgic texture. The sound design is recorded from real streets in Ecuador, so the ambient noise, the dogs barking, the street vendors feels incredibly authentic. It's not really about soccer, it's about community and growing up. It's short, weird, and surprisingly emotional for a game about kicking a ball. City builders are usually chill, right? You build houses, you wait for gold. Not here. Against the Storm is a roguelike city builder where the rain never stops and the apocalypse is always 5 minutes away. You have to build a settlement, gather resources, and satisfy the queen's demands before a magical storm wipes you off the map. Once you win, or die, you reset and start a new city in a different biome with different perks.
This loop solves the boring endgame problem of most city builders. You never reach that point where you are just waiting for numbers to go up. You are constantly in survival mode. You have to manage weird races like beavers and lizards, who all have different needs. Lizards like heat, beavers like wood. It's incredibly addictive because every run feels different. It finally came to console in 2025 with controls that actually work on a gamepad, which is a miracle for this genre. If you have ADHD and get bored of SimCity after an hour, this game was made for you.
The sequel to Ender Lilies dropped, and somehow people are still sleeping on it. Ender Magnolia, Bloom in the Mist. This is a Metroidvania that looks like a gothic fairy tale. You play as Lilac, a spirit tuner who can purify the monsters roaming the land. Instead of just killing bosses, you save them, and then they join you as summonable attacks. It's basically Pokemon meets Hollow Knight. The art is breathtaking. Hand-drawn backgrounds, gloomy forests, and ruined machine cities. The music is melancholic and beautiful, done by Millie, which gives it this anime opening vibe. The combat is way smoother than the first game. You can mix and match spirits to create your own combos. It's not as punishingly hard as Hollow Knight, making it way more accessible, but the map is huge and full of secrets. It's the perfect game for a rainy weekend, when you just want to get lost in a sad, beautiful world.
This is the hidden gem that no one saw coming, Rematch. It's a psychological puzzle fighter where your opponent is you. Specifically, an AI that learns from your previous rounds. Round 1 is easy, you beat the dummy. Round 2, the dummy plays exactly like you did in round 1. It uses your own combos, your own cheap tricks, and your own timing against you. Every round adds another ghost of your past self to the arena. By round 5, you are fighting a team of 5 versions of yourself, all spamming that one move you like to abuse. It forces you to constantly change your strategy and adapt. You can't cheese the game because the game is your cheese. It's a brilliant concept that drives you insane. It's minimalist, fast, and the ultimate test of get good. If you have an ego, this game will destroy it. We are ending with the ultimate late-night Discord game, Ball X Pit. The title tells you everything you need to know. You are a ball, there is a pit. You need to put the ball in the pit. But the physics engine is drunk. The levels are procedurally generated death traps, and up to 50 players are trying to do it at the same time. It is absolute chaos. Think Super Monkey Ball meets Fall Guys, but with a synthwave aesthetic and zero safety rails. You can boost, jump, and knock other players off the edge. The sense of speed is nauseating in the best way. It has a level editor that the community has used to build the most sadistic courses imaginable. It's cheap, it's broken in all the right ways, and it's the most fun you will have screaming at your friends this year. Don't think about it, just play it. So there you have it. 19 games from 2025 that prove you don't need a $100 million budget to make something incredible. Whether you are into claymation horror, high-speed physics chaos, or just kicking a soccer ball in Ecuador, there was something for you this year. Seriously, go play Expedition 33 or Citizen Sleeper. You can thank me later. Which one of these hidden gems are you gonna pick up? Let me know in the comments below. Drop a like if you found a new favorite, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace!